right. So obviously everybody is focusing on the Cub Cardinal game, and I understand it's 11 o'clock, which is fine. So, um, want to first. Well, that worked. Oh man. See, it's late. It's Sunday night, right? Everybody wants to watch a 5-2 Cubs game right now. So then you tell them you're going to be on at 11. Then you got to post that tweet. That tweet usually the tweet will get your attention. It worked. It worked. Looks like we got some people getting on here. So gonna let a couple more people trickle in. Thanks for tuning in to Swami Live, y'all. Thanks for anybody. Look at we got there. Damn. Oh, State Farm Center. Oh, hold the line on helmets. If you would, please retweet this, my Illini Swami Live post that you guys, and share it. And share this, actually. Pretty sure you can share this. Appreciate the likes on here. And most importantly, subscribe, Why not? If you subscribe, y'all, if you subscribe, you'll always know when this goes on. Like, I don't have to tell you, hey, Swami Live. You'll get notifications just like that. So, and chats should come up down here. There, and I know if y'all can't figure out, there's some button down here. You guys should be able to chat, to watch, and then chat. There's like a button you can hit to write. It's different since I'm holding this camera, you know, this way. I'm not holding my camera up straight. So, I will take questions at the end. If y'all want to do that, just like we all used to do on the Periscopes. So, I'm going to get to it now. So, again, retweet that tweet if you haven't already. And share. I think you can share this, actually. So, anyway, thanks. So, obviously, appreciate y'all reading the IlliniScoops.com articles. I will say this. Nate Williamson had a great one today with Seth Coleman. I'll have one tomorrow, just a little update from Casey Washington. Of course, I'm going to be talking about that here, but I actually spoke with him this weekend too. Had asking him some different questions. I didn't want to ask him the same questions. Everybody and their mama has to write an article about everybody, but I don't want to do that. What's up, Jack? Hey, Jack. Thanks, Jack. Legendary Central Illinois coach right here, Jack. Blickensderfer. Meridian. All right, so again, thanks y'all for following IlliniScoops.com and just helping it become bigger and better, and I appreciate y'all. Now, get right to it. Of course, Casey Washington was the first one to commit from Austin, Texas. Didn't have tons of big Power 5 program offers. It didn't have any really big offers. Had offer from Kansas, had other schools kind of, showing some high interest of late. Illinois saw him at a Texas A&M Commerce camp, and Andrew Hayes Stoker genuinely just loved his hands, and he's got good size on him, 6'2", near 195 pounds, 190 pounds. Going to be a possession receiver, so not a guy that's going to blow by many people, but he gets separation off the line, which is important, and he'll get to that spot and get you first downs. He's got great hands in traffic, especially if you watch his huddle. You just see him go up and he can high point the ball, which is great. And a real confident kid as well, which is awesome because does the lack of like successful Power 5 program offers, does that bother you? And the fact that Illinois was like, man, I don't care about how many offers this kid has. We like his skill set and we want to offer him. So of course, that was important to him. It stuck out. And I think that the fact that Illinois wanted him, I think is going to drive him to have a chip on his shoulder, and be even more confident in his game, and definitely wanting to show all the other schools, especially Texas schools, that they were wrong for not offering him. And I think that can be important for everybody. And you got to remember, too, not everybody at a high school has tons of high profile offers. It's not about necessarily the stars. What I like about the Illinois staff so far is that they are recruiting to what they want to do on the field. They're not just offering anybody because they're a 4 star. But they're a 4 star. I mean, you offer every 4 star, right? No, you offer the kids that you can see in your system and that you think that can be productive in the classroom and on the field. And that's something important. I think a lot of people are just like, well, that kid's a 4 star. Why didn't they offer him? I mean, that doesn't really matter. Look at Mikey Dudick. Kent State offered him. Illinois offered him. You know? Would anybody here take a bunch of Mikey Dudicks? You would. Anyway, this kid's got good size, great hands. And I love his competitive spirit and drive. And I think you're going to see Casey Washington contributing down the road for Illinois for sure, especially, with this Rod Smith offense. It's not tons of deep routes. You're going to see some curls and slants and hitches. So, 7, 8 yards. I think you're going to see him, find the opening, stay in there, make tough catches in traffic. And he can go up and get it. So I like the addition from Casey Washington. And, no, this won't interfere or mess anything up with Maurice Massey. Two different type of receivers. And I don't believe Casey Washington is going to intimidate Maurice Massey and thinking, oh, there's too many wide receivers at Illinois. I possibly couldn't go there. So, again, anybody new who is jumping on now, I will take some questions at the end if you can figure out how to ask me questions down here. It may be a little bit different than the Periscopes. And please retweet this or share this, however you can do that on Twitter or whatever. I really appreciate that. And if you haven't subscribed already, please do subscribe to this because you will get notifications as soon as I come on here. I'm wanting to do these more, than I have. Maybe not every weekend, but I'm going to start doing these for press conferences. After practice things, I'm going to start doing this more. So if you're really into seeing what's going on or not wanting to wait to hear what Lovie Smith or the staff had to say after a practice or after a game, I think you might want to subscribe. I think it's going to be something that you're going to enjoy. So now, on to Seth Coleman. Seth Coleman, Illinois went and saw him at the Mercer camp in Georgia, a little over a month ago. Hardy Nickerson in particular, and just loved his raw athleticism to begin with. The kid didn't even play his junior year, and that's what I think a lot of the reason that this kid didn't have more offers, did not have more offers other than, Illinois, Florida Atlantic, and Lane Kiffin. I think he knows talent. Charlie Strong at South Florida offered right in the back door. And I think UCF's going to regret not offering. They already did have people in their program, trying to get their coaches to be like, hey, you need to offer this kid. He didn't even play his junior year. 6'5", 205 pounds. I think you're really going to see him be like a Carroll Phillips type off the edge, just stand-up pass rusher. I know many people are clamoring for him to be a linebacker, which maybe he could be, but I think the fact that he's going to rush the passer like he can, especially using his long arms and his freakish athletic, watch his basketball highlights. I mean, the kid's a freak. But he's already just the fact that could you imagine? I can't imagine him with 25 pounds of muscle on him in a couple of years, how tough he's going to be. So I think the biggest thing is if for anybody saying, oh, he didn't have all these big offers again, he didn't even play his junior year. So, those huddle highlights you're watching, those are his sophomore highlights. So I think what they saw, the Illini staff knew there's something special in this kid. And I was talking with some Illini fans earlier, and they messaged me and they were like, Simeon Rice didn't have many big offers coming out of high school, and he turned out okay. True. That just goes into my point again about, it doesn't really matter what your star is. I think everybody's so focused on the star, while I do agree that you need some kids that are more highly touted because a lot of times the 5-star kids end up being pretty good a lot of times, but not every time. So I'm saying the fact that you add some 5 stars, like Marquez Beeson and Isaiah Williams, even though he's got slouched and slap in the face, moved to like 4 or 500 and some of them. Everybody knows he's a 5-star athlete. They had him as a quarterback, so it wasn't 5-star, I guess, as a quarterback. But you already know what you're getting in two top, of the line athletes and players and playmakers, and Isaiah Williams and Marquez Beeson. You need different skill sets and different rankings. It doesn't all have to be, they don't all have to be top 400 or 500 kids. So, and the fact is, several programs have won with that. I mean, for God's sakes, look at Northwestern, man. They get ranked lower than Illinois almost every ranking wise right now. They're lower than Illinois in the recruiting rankings. They win 8-9 games a year, So it's about recruiting to your system, being how you're coached, and the type of player you are and type of person you are, if you're a team player or not, unselfishness. And I think Lovey is recruiting to what he believes in values and, and how they're going to fit his system. And so for Seth Coleman, I was definitely pleasantly surprised to see some of his film, especially in basketball, to see what type of athlete he is. But even as a sophomore, he's batting balls down with his long arms and stuff. So I think he's going to be a ferocious pass rusher. I told you, Carroll Phillips, I think, is going to be a good example of what he can be, and I think he could be even better than Carroll Phillips. It just depends on how quick he grasps on to Lovie Smith's defense. So, kid from Melbourne, loved the visit. Dad is big. I think you can see with pictures of his dad, his in his build. I think what kind of physical, how much weight you think you can put on him. I think he's going to be able to put easy 25, 30 pounds of more muscle on and be just as quick off the edge. So now that leads us to Maurice Massey. So, I'm not saying who or exactly what was said, but within the Illini staff and within the Illini program, Illinois feels really, really good about Maurice Massey. I was told that there was another offensive commit this weekend, that they were told it was a commit, but didn't say who, because of course school in the St. Louis area before he went out to community college. And of course, Corey Patterson's been the main recruiter for him, and he knows him well and remembers him from the St. Louis area. And of course, Maurice Massey. So, Maurice Massey, of course, from the St. Louis area, as a top two of Missouri and Illinois. And, just left 2 visits with Missouri and was at the Illini Lovey barbecue on Friday. So is going to be deciding August 3rd, of course, the first day of Illini camp, next Friday, which is exciting. Super excited. I will be there, and hopefully some of you guys will be there as well too. So I think that would be a nice, a nice treat to have that be the first day of camp and have a Maurice Massey commit, because I'm telling you right now, with Fabian McRae already involved, you get a Maurice Massey, you're already adding to the youth and some talented wide receivers Illinois already has, young ones. It's going to be a sweet setup all around for the Illini receiving core of just talent. The fact that the talent level is already, it's basically going to be twice the athletes, twice the speed, and you can't teach speed and athleticism, and Maurice Massey has those, as well as Seth Coleman, by the way, about speed and athleticism. So it's like the best way I can put it is, the bar of where the average Illini recruit was, I think, it's not even star-wise, I think just speed and athleticism-wise, it was kind of like down here. No, he was not injured. He didn't actually. There may have been. I think I've heard there was a brief injury phase, but it was more of he was doing basketball, other sports, and he didn't focus on football. So he didn't play his junior year. But anyway, the average bar, I think, of speed and athleticism, maybe not necessarily overall talent, because some of those kids had some. There was some Malik Turner who just got signed by the Seahawks, by the way. And Illinois had some kids that played on Sundays with Beckman and them. But I think the average bar of just speed, athleticism, and maybe overall football IQ, it's probably down here. I think now Lovey's raised that. You know, so and that is big. That helps you be in the games and maybe win those close games that you didn't before because you lacked the speed and athleticism to do it. Maybe you recognize specific plays, but you just couldn't make the tackle or get there quick enough, or get by the guy you needed to because you couldn't. So that's definitely the biggest part for me, and that's exciting, for the Illini football program. So, uh, well, I know this. He told the, I think he was already. Well, but here's the thing: every kid wants their day, right? They want a special day, like they want to announce it and they want to put it on Twitter. They want to have a big ceremony, right? They want everybody to focus on them, which is, what? That's what 18-year-old kids do. That's what age. He already told the Missouri staff too that he was going to come to their Saturday night. I think Be Fair, come to their Saturday night thing, their Saturday night cookout thing. Ira Henry was there as well too. So I think he wanted to do this his own way, set his own table, and instead of necessarily, yeah, yeah. So he was wanting to do his own thing, basically, and not necessarily just be like, "Hey, I'm gonna commit while I'm there." He wanted everybody to know, "Hey, all eyes on him, man." Maurice Massey, Friday. Everybody's gonna look to. Everybody's gonna be anticipating it. It's a special thing for them. They get to do it one time. That's what I have learned over these last couple of years of following recruiting more and more. Oh, okay. So, I, from what I was told, the Illini staff feels really good, excited, super excited about Massey. So, but the kid wants to have his day. It's Friday, August 3rd. He still went and did respectful. He was polite. Um, no, I really don't. I don't believe he committed to Missouri too. I don't. Regardless what Missouri people are saying. I mean, do you really trust what Missouri people are saying? I mean, good Lord, have you looked on Twitter? Whew. I mean, that's all you really need to know. Look on Twitter. If you believe Missouri people, then there you go. Have fun with that. I mean, look who's running their basketball program. So, anyway, yeah, so I think that's what's going on with Massey. Uh, yeah, yeah, Twitter's fun. Twitter's fun. Just gotta learn how to handle Twitter. So Massey, Friday. Don't believe he committed to Missouri. I know the Illini staff felt good about it. So to me, I feel like, people ask me the over under of commitments from the Lovey Barbecue. I think it's 3. And then Rajay Johnson. I'll say this: I feel really good about Massey. I put him as one of my Illini Swami picks a month or so ago on my podcast. I'm not changing that. I don't know if you noticed though, before his Friday night Lovey Barbecue, all the experts switched their crystal balls to Missouri, right? But then after he left, they all, even the head ones, switched their crystal balls to Illinois. Now, if those don't change by Friday, you should feel pretty good about it because the national head recruiting expert doesn't just switch his crystal ball for no reason. Time they get more point system like, hey, this guy only switched it this many times, he did it this early too, so they know what's going on for the most part. Sometimes they fall asleep behind the wheel, which I have pointed out a couple times. Didn't like that too kindly actually, and I have the direct messages on Twitter to prove it. So especially with Marquez Beeson, they were sleeping, but it's okay. um, so that means Shimon Cooper, Ira Henry left before we get to the Q&A. And hopefully some of you guys watching who have retweeted my tweet about Illini Swami Live or shared this video, and it will be available to be retweeted or shared again once it's over with. You guys can figure out how to ask questions here down at the bottom. And I enjoy doing these, so I hope people who are watching these now, if you haven't subscribed to the Illini Scoop YouTube channel, please do, because as I've said before, I'm going to be doing these during the season at camp, practices, interviews with coaches. some players, and after the game and post game. So I think you guys might want to watch these. If you guys don't mind waiting, to the next morning to watching the interviews after the game, then that's great. But I'm trying to give you guys an avenue here to watch some of this stuff live. So definitely subscribe. I think it's going to be worth your while. So Shimon Cooper got back from his Oklahoma. Yep. Yeah. And I'm getting to that. And Shimon Cooper, in particular, uh, while I think he enjoyed the visit, I think he left knowing he really is not a priority for Oklahoma. Oklahoma's got other priorities at linebacker. He would be just a guy in case someone decommitted or something bad happened in the program, or uh, you know. So and they're pretty full there at linebacker. There's not a need, a depth need, a depth of, and the fact he ain't. I don't really see a way him playing early at Oklahoma. He's going to play early at Illinois. While he does have flaws in his game, his talent level already, even though, and I've heard that Oklahoma feels he's a little undersized too. I think Illinois has a need, especially depth wise and talent wise too, when Phillips leaves. Because um, you're going to have Milo excuse me, sitting out this year. He'll come in. You'll have Hanson, who I think is going to be a pleasant surprise this year. And then Tolson, who I think you guys are going to love. I have a really good friend who personally trained him. We'll get to that to the end. Questions at the end. I don't know if you don't remember that in the Periscope, so I'm not doing all that right now. When I'm done with this, I'll answer some questions. So I have a personal friend down in Florida who trained Kalen Tolson April, May, and June before he came to Illinois. To just told me how much of a stud athletically Kalen Tolson is, man. He flies around, and I think he is an undersized linebacker, height-wise, but my gosh, he's got gigantic legs. Have you seen he's put 15 pounds of muscle on in 5-6 weeks at Illinois. Physically, he's going to be ready to play. So, physically, he's going to be ready to play at Illinois. It's how quick he adapts and picks up the defense. But I think you're going to see him filling in spots, playing to depending on down and stuff like that. So, down in distance. But I think speed-wise, he's going to be able to cover people. I'm not sure if it's going to be weak or strong side. Probably weak side linebacker. But I think Kalen Tolson is going to be a huge impact player for Illinois early. Maybe not early in his freshman year, but I think by his sophomore year he's really going to catch on. But I think Shimon Cooper, his freshman year is going to be an impact kid. Depth-wise and I think talent-wise, Oklahoma's already going to have guys like Shimon Cooper. He's going to be a star at Illinois. He's just going to be another guy at Oklahoma, and I think that's really becoming more apparent. Do I think he really, truly likes Oklahoma? Yeah. If Oklahoma prioritized him and made him feel like he was the guy, you're going to be one of our guys, he would go there. But I think the love he's already got for Patterson and his close friends, and I think the fact that he's he really genuinely cares about Lovie Smith, and he likes what Lovie can do. He loves Lovie's NFL experience. I think those are all going to weigh on him, and also Texas and Clemson are not going to prioritize Shimon Cooper. Those are big things too, yes, they're big programs, and I know some kids still go to programs that don't prioritize them, but I think Shimon Cooper wants to be the guy, wants to make an impact. And he told me, when I spoke to him face-to-face at the Friday Night Lights camp, he told me he wants to go somewhere early where he knows he can make a difference. Not just sit there and be a guy that's going to redshirt and maybe get a chance in a couple years. He knows he can do that at Illinois. Now, Ira Henry, I think, is a little different story. I think the fact that he's even saying that I might make Illinois my 4th official visit, I'm going to make Missouri's definitely my last one. So he visited Iowa State already officially. Looks like he's going to be visiting Oklahoma, and maybe a couple other schools, SEC or Big 12. But he was saying Illinois or Mississippi State may get his 4th visit. I think you'll start to see things trending against Illinois in Ira Henry's favor. Jack Cooper. Sorry, Jack Cooper. Buford. Jack Buford's a big reason for that, too. I think they're close. I would be shocked if Ira Henry doesn't go to Missouri. So, but yeah, so he said Illinois may get his fourth official visit, but he's definitely visiting Missouri fifth. So, um, yeah, so and I, you know what, I could talk basketball right now, but I want to say some stuff for the podcast. And I may hit some of this stuff up again on the podcast with Kevin Ducey. If you haven't followed Kevin Ducey already, do follow him. If you haven't followed Nate Williamson, follow Nate. If you haven't followed Armand Sethi, follow him. Also, Carly Bell from WICS and News Channel 20. Great Bears coverage for any Bears fans on here. Follow her, man. She's up there talking to Coach Nagy and has had some really good stuff. She interviewed Dave Wanstedt, talked to him about the Roquan Smith holdout and all that. Good stuff. So, anybody here, if you're able to ask questions, feel free to do it. I'll give you guys the floor for a couple minutes to ask some questions. Then it's time for me to wind down because, yep. Yes, I think Matt Robinson definitely has a chance to play this year. I mentioned he's my dark horse, but I genuinely feel AJ Bush is going to start game one. Experience level, being 22, 23-year old, um, I would say a better actual. Cam Thomas definitely has a better arm, I believe. The accuracy thing is the biggest key for Cam Thomas, but I think it's going to be between Cam Thomas and AJ Bush. But I think AJ Bush is going to start game one. Doesn't mean he'll start game two, but definitely game one. So, and yes, I like Matt Robinson. There's a reason why Rod Smith. There's a reason why Rod Smith offered him, handpicked him. So, now what was the question about Cooper in Clemson, Texas? Yes, he wants to take visits there because Austin has a pretty, powerful football programming of, beautiful campus. Have had plenty of success. Won a national championship, 12, 13 years ago. Tom Herman's a great coach, good recruiter. Clemson is in the playoff every year. Kids want to be, a chance to go to those places for free. Want to maybe see if and feel maybe these guys do want to prioritize me, And I know whenever Shimon Cooper has said he's going to commit at the Under Armour All-American game, so I think it's going to be a longer process for him. But I think in the end of the day, unless Clemson, Texas, Oklahoma decide to prioritize him, that Shimon Cooper will be an Illini, and that's how I feel right now. So I'll answer one more question here if we get another one. If anyone besides Jeff, both the Jeffs, Arizona and Jeff Ha. Well, I know this. I'll take that last Randolph question. I think if there's a chance still, Randolph is going to visit Purdue, Illinois, and Wyoming and then decide after that. So that should take place sometime. Whew. No. There we go. Whew. All right. So, no, Wyoming, Purdue, Illinois. He wants to take officials to all three, and that could be sometime during the season when he commits. So, yeah, I got it taken care of. Landed on my notebook. So anyway, that could be in September, October-ish. So yeah, no, I think Illinois still has a good chance for Randolph. So top three: Wyoming, Purdue, Illinois. And I think last thing I want to say too, a lot of these fans want to, talking about momentum, recruiting momentum's gone down. I think have to realize too, when you get Williams and Beeson, two, high level kids right away, that you guys expect that just needs the dominoes just need to fall. Like that's just how it should be. That's not how recruiting works. It's a slow process. It's a long time. You got till December for early enrollment or early signing, and then February. So what are we? August, September, October, November to 5 months from early, 7 from February, and come on, man, it's a half a year away. So it's a slow process, and I think Illinois has a chance to have a top 40 class again, if not top 30, if they can get some of these other kids. So adding Cooper will be big time. So I definitely like what the Illini are doing, and adding Massey will be really big. And I know the Illini staff is real happy with how the barbecue went. So camp starting next Friday. IlliniScoops.com. Follow, subscribe for free on the website. Illini Scoops podcast, subscribe for free. Illini Scoop YouTube channel, subscribe. Why not? Why not? Illini Training Camp Central, big time article coming Wednesday with my newest and probably last contributor. God, I'm adding a third guy to help out for all the best Illini coverage, detailing and breaking down any and everything you could want to see come Friday. So, with that being said, Swami out. Have a great Monday. Thanks, guys.